York Rangers are presented by Chase, and we welcome you back to Madison Square Garden in New York City. Another chapter to the legacy that is the New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins, right next to each other in the NHL standings. Good evening, everybody. Al Trautwig in the Visa Gameside studio. The Rangers and Bruins, part of what was born into the NHL in 1926, and after the restart following World War II, part of what is now called the Original Six. Bottom line, a lot of mileage between these two teams. And in the last game, the run over of Brad Marchand to Henrik Lundqvist, the Matt Bolesky hit on Derek Stepan. You wonder if those things factor in tonight's game, and history says they probably will. For more, let's go to Sam Rosen and Joe Micheletti. Sam?
Thanks very much, Al. Good evening, everyone. I agree with Al. I think somewhere along the line in this game, we'll see a very physical game unfolding.
You know, I think it's going to be physical because, as Claude Julien, the coach, told us today, this is a rivalry, and you've got two teams. But I think the thing to watch for is that both these teams know that they need the points. They're close. There's a lot of teams that are bunched up in the standings, and they don't want to make a mistake that'll cause their team to lose points.
In this latest stretch, the Rangers have been winning one, losing one, but the coaches look at the positives, and the positives say they're getting contributions from different players, and that's a good sign.
Well, Sam, you know, we're used to it here in New York, the Rangers going on runs at different times. Last year they did it from December on. The year before they started a little bit later, but they still had a good 3-month run. In order to do that, though, you have to have everybody contributing. Can't be one line or two lines. And so you go back to last game, the Rangers trailed 2-0, and you know they've been finding different players to score. This was against Dallas when Stallberg scores, and then later on, of course, Jason Megna, recent call-up, scores in his first game. Kevin Hayes hadn't scored in 17 games. He scores a goal. So when you start getting contributions from your third and fourth line players, you've got a chance to go on a nice run.
When teams play the Rangers, they immediately point to the Rangers' defense as being very, very active, very much involved in the offense. That's a key point for the Rangers as well.
Yeah, it sure is, Sam, because just about, you know, anytime you see the Rangers start scoring goals, where's it start? It starts from those defensemen. We saw that against Washington the other night. They trailed 2-0 in third period. How about this play by McDonough? You know, to keep the play alive, and then you know, they score the goal to get them on the board. Now things start turning the other way, and who is it? It's McDonough again. This time from the other side, finds a way to get the puck to the front of the net. The Rangers turn that into a goal. Keith Yandle on both sides of the ice. He takes the shot, and that ends up in the net. And then we've seen Yandle doesn't score a lot of goals because he passes more when he shoots, but when he decides to shoot, he finds a way to get it through. So those Ranger defensemen are the key, both defensively and to get their offense kick-started.
At times this season, the Boston Bruins have been really good. They went through a stretch. They were 11-0-1. Right now, they're struggling, 2-5-1 in their last 8. Our scouting report, brought to you by your local tri-state area Land Rover retailers, features 2 of the men that keep them up in the standings. Patrice Bergeron, one of the best two-way players in the game, and Brad Marchand. At times he can be very dumb. At other times he can be the best player on the ice.
You know, Sam, we talk about twosomes around the league, and we saw Jordy Ben and Tyler Seguin with Dallas. Now they're not to that level, but this twosome has been together a lot of years, and they do a lot of good things together. You're right about Bergeron, especially with David Krejci out of the lineup now because of injury. They're relying on Bergeron to do even more. He leads them in power play goals with 8. He leads them in scoring. He wins, you know, so many of the face-offs, and he's a leader. And Brad Marchand, there's what you don't want him to do. That's the dumb things that you're talking about that actually cost his team. When he's not doing that, this guy's a heck of a hockey player. He can shoot the puck. He leads them in shorthanded goals with 3, tied with Bergeron in goals for with 15. He's a heck of a player when he's thinking correctly.
Yes. Last time these two teams met, right after Thanksgiving, Derek Stepan was a key player. He was hurt on this hit from Matt Bolesky, and it cost Derek Stepan 10 games. But now he's back, and it looks like his game is rounding into top form. We'll be set to go in just a moment. We are back on a great night in New York City, getting set for the Rangers and the Boston Bruins. Closed captioning tonight, brought to you by the New York Lottery. Let's play. Inside the Garden, we check out our Audi goaltending matchup in his 11th consecutive start. Henrik Lundqvist, his career record against the Boston Bruins, 21-12-2, 18 wins on the season. And And across the way, Tuukka Rask. Just 1-4-1 in the last 6 starts for Tuukka Rask, indicative of the struggles that the Bruins have been going through. They've got some people missing.
Yeah.
Adam McQuaid on defense, Chris Kelly up front, and David Krejci, one of their best players.
That's a huge loss. And the thing about Tuukka Rask, he's got a much better road record than he does a home record. So does the team, for that matter.
Bruins have been one of the best teams in the league on the road, 12-3-3. Play whistle down. 14 seconds in.
There's Claude Julien, the head coach. This is his 901st game as a head coach in the National Hockey League. He's been a terrific coach now in his 9th season with the Boston Bruins. Of course, he won the Stanley Cup in 2011.
Fired in. Tuukka Rask there to play. Third game in the last 4 nights for the Bruins, who defeated the New Jersey Devils and lost in overtime to Ottawa Saturday night. That shot blocked in front, played by J.T. Miller. This is the third game of a 5-game road trip for the Bruins. Marchand with a takeaway, got upended by Zuccarello. Rangers take over. See the lineups coming in at the top of your screen. They're brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Good pressure on Zdeno Chara by Jason Megna. Then Chara dumps him and takes the puck and fires it out. Matt Bolesky is on, and so is Derek Stepan.
Is he strong?
39.
Chara?
Yes. Oh.
He pushes players over just like it's nothing.
What a large man. Here's Ryan Spooner with a shot to save by Lundqvist. The rebound deflection cross. That's picked up by Keith Yandel. Yandel fires ahead. And Stepan brings it across. Offside whistled on the play. 1:29 seconds into the game.
Boy, pretty good chance by Spooner. Dave Maloney talked about Spooner in the pregame show, and he's one of those players that they rely on even more on the offensive side because of the loss of Krejci. And that long pass from the far side, and Spooner's been scoring. He's been doing a good job for the Bruins to help make up for that loss of Krejci.
Chris Kreider is back in the lineup and on the ice after missing 2 games with a cut on his hand. Chips it off the glass. And the Hayes brothers are on the ice. Number 11 in the white jersey is Jimmy Hayes, the older brother of the Rangers' Kevin Hayes.
So they had dinner last night. Papa came into town.
Nice.
So they had a friend of Dad's, and the 4 of them went out and had a nice dinner in the city.
Kevin had that shot from a sharp angle, a quick turnaround shot. Here comes Jimmy Hayes, checked by Mark Stahl. Stahl paired with Dan Boyle. Boyle without a stick here. Tries to push it with his glove. Brett Connolly dives for it. It's brought out and cleared down by Tanner Glass, who's just on. The Rangers have gotten all 4 lines on the ice. Victor Stahlberg, you mentioned him, Joe. Goals in 2 straight games. And in 3 of the last 4, that's a real good sign for Victor Stahlberg. What the Rangers were hoping when they signed him in free agency. Played off the glass, knocked down by Keith Yandel. Kept in, Glass with a long shot, gloved by Tuukka Rask, and he holds it.
Yeah, Lane Vigneault, and listening to him speak this morning, he sounded similar to Claude Julien, didn't he?
Yes.
About, I don't want to talk about what happened before, and Brad Marchand and Henrik Lundqvist and all that. He said these are important games. We got to come out here and figure out a way to win and get 2 points. The Bruins just 2 points behind the Rangers coming into this game.
And Claude Julien did want to clear something up with us. He said, listen, I didn't mean to be critical of Henrik Lundqvist. I love the guy. He's a terrific guy.
Yeah.
Here's J.T. Miller with a setup for for Brassard, and the save made by Rask.
Beautiful setup by J.T. Miller.
Brassard, Miller, and Zuccarello. Long shot from the point by Kevin Klein went wide. Rangers defensive pair is McDonough and Klein. A little juggling of the defensive pairs.
Calvillo and his defensive assistant, Ulf Samuelsson. 3:35 gone by in the first. Louis Eriksson, a teammate of Henrik Lundqvist in Sweden.
Boy, he's having a good season for the Bruins.
Now it's Matt Bolesky. Backhands it toward the net. Kicked away by Mark Stahl. Bolesky with a shot that's blocked. Played by Eriksson. Waiting. That pass tipped and goes out of the zone. Heads up play in the defensive zone by the Rangers. Sent right back in. Zach Trotman on defense for the Bruins.
Eriksson is another one of those players that will be an unrestricted free agent. Boston has been up against the cap for the last number of years, so where they sit probably 5 weeks from now as we approach the trade deadline, the standings, I think, will dictate an awful lot for many teams that have unrestricted players.
An interesting dynamic, Joe. The salary cap is so very, very important as to the future of every team, and yet most teams are going to be in the playoff race.
Yeah,
a month, 6 weeks from now, they'll still be in it.
Yeah, probably.
So close. Tough decisions to be made. Dennis Seidenberg moves it out of the zone. Rangers take it back. Dan Boyle able to move it. Jesper Fast was checked as he wound up to try and drive it in. Max Talbot got a piece of him. Brought in by Landon Ferraro, son of one-time Ranger Ray Ferraro. Rangers come out with it. Stolberg on the puck. Stolberg. Number 62, Zach Rinaldo, moves the puck up ahead for Ferraro. He started his NHL career with the Detroit Red Wings. The Bruins picked him up. Dominic Moore's passes to McDonough. Now Miller moves in with a drive to save. Good shot by Miller. Tough save made by Tuukka Rask. Back the other way. David Pastrnak, who played in the World Juniors for the Czech Republic.
He had a broken foot, Sam. He missed 7 weeks, so he's just trying to get back up to speed now. A talented player, just 19.
Marchand, pass was tipped, trying to get it to Bergeron. And Klein got a piece of that pass.
Real good defensive play. Klein having his stick in the right position.
Now Yandel looks to play it. Up the middle, intercepted by Pastrnak toward the net, blocked away by Klein. Another good play by Kevin Klein. Kevin Miller sending it in for Boston. I will say this, Joe, too many Millers in this game. Well, 2 for Boston, 1 for the Rangers, and 1 linesman.
If you say Miller, you'll be fine.
Okay. 6:23 gone by. First period, Rangers and Bruins, no score.
Well, the Rangers have had 3 of the first 4 shots. Here's a look from our Buick RoboCam. J.T. Miller does a good job on the boards. He'll steal the puck here. Good defensive play. And then a little give and go. And right back at you, Brassard with that chance. Tuukka Rask makes a good save. And then this time, J.T. Miller says, I'll just take the shot. And Tuukka Rask with the left leg kicks that one out and makes the save.
The RoboCam replay brought to you by the new Buick. Buick, your kind of luxury.
Derek Stepan taking the face-off. Matt Bolesky over on the wing.
Second time. They've been opposite one another. Jason Megna double team. Stahl swings it around the boards. Boyle and Eriksson go for it. Stepan around to Mark Stahl. Good pressure by Boston on the forecheck. Eriksson with a long shot that's wide. Boyle trying to play it. Ryan Spooner, number 51, is there. Boyle back the other way.
That's a big change for the Boston Bruins. You'll see their defense much more involved in the offense this year than in past seasons. They're a better offensive team than they were last year. So Claude Julien was asked to change the style of his team. They made a lot of trades, Sam, in the offseason. About half the team changed, and this is a team that missed the playoffs by just 2 points.
11 players played their first game as a Boston Bruin this season.
Boy,
that's a big turnover.
Yeah.
Back pass to McDonough. Shot toward the net. A deflection went by Rask and wide of the net. Along the boards. Chris Kreider checked by Torrey Krug. Good job by Kreider keeping it alive. McDonough gets it to Hayes. Kevin Hayes through to McDonough. Now Fox, the save. Rask loves the shot by Jesper Fast.
Fox with 2 chances on that shift. The first one was a deflection, as McDonough really does a nice job. Figure out a way. How am I going to get it through? How am I going to get it through? There it is. And that's Fast with the redirection. And Rask just gets a piece of it. Here it is again. Beautiful redirection. And off one leg, off the other leg, and slides out.
Yeah.
That close.
Face-off wins. Zuccarello with a shot that was blocked by Max Talbot. And played back to Keith Yandle. Puck taken back by the Bruins. Zach Rinaldo sends it deep. Talbot after it, with Lundqvist moved it. Girardi took a hit from Talbot. Ferraro checked by Zuccarello. Long shot by Ronaldo, a save by Lundqvist. Had a little problem with it and had it in the pads. And holds on to stop play. 8:08 gone by here in the first period. Next Tuesday night on MSG, what happens when a curse turns into a blessing? Go inside the Rangers' 94 Stanley Cup final against the Vancouver Canucks on the Garden's Defining Moments, presented by SAP. Next Tuesday night, following Rangers Canucks on MSG. Yes.
That'll be fun to watch
special.
again.
Absolutely. Relive some glorious memories. Marchand. Checked there by McDonough. And the puck deflects out of the zone, recovered by Krug.
What a good play by McDonough, just staying with Marchand. Went left, went right, went left, went right. Staying with him all the way was McDonough to force the pass outside the zone.
Had a Glass. A good pass to Victor Stahlberg. Now McDonough out to Glass. By him, and Tuukka Rask stops it side of the net. Right on him with Stahlberg. Turnover. Kept in by Moore to Stahlberg. Stahlberg keeps it alive. Checked by Patrice Bergeron. Set up for Kevin Klein. Saved by Rask. Hard shot right off the Bruins logo. Off his chest.
Rangers are doing a good job when the puck is deep in Boston's zone to start this game. That's 6 shots now for the Rangers to 2 for Boston. And they're really doing a good job getting down low and putting pressure on. And it's a little bit of all these. We saw Stahlberg that time with the setup. Prior to that, a real good shift by that Hayes line with Kreider on one side, Fast on the other. Well, penalty coming up now. This will be Megna got his stick up against Louis Eriksson.
First penalty of the game, and a power play to the Boston Bruins, who are have the #1 ranked power play in the NHL. They've scored the 2nd most power play goals. Megna goes off at 8:56.
Yeah, right off the face-off. Accidental, but you have to be able to control your stick. Megna gets the stick up on Louis Eriksson. Here you'll see right there in front of you. There's the stick. Gets up high. Megna catches Louis Eriksson, and boy, oh boy, you don't want to turn this into a special teams game if you can help it.
Bruins 6 for 18 over the last 5 games on the power play. 4 of those 6 coming in one game against Ottawa. Shot got through. Lundqvist the save. Up the boards kept in by Colin Miller. This is Krug down low, and it was intercepted and cleared by Jesper Fast.
Yeah, normally they have David Krejci on the point with Krug. And with Krejci being out, Colin Miller is one of those young players that they've tried back there. He can really shoot it.
Bergeron moves in with it. Spooner. This is Colin Miller, number 48. Now Torrey Krug. Shot blocked. Krug takes it down low. Rangers have McDonough and Girardi with Nash and Stepan on now. Pass back to Spooner. Krug gets it through to Bergeron. Saved by Lundqvist. Bergeron missed the rebound, and McDonough able to clear.
And that's where Bergeron has been so good this year for the Bruins. He's that middleman on the power play. He can dish it off, but he's got that ability to get the puck, spin quickly, and take the shot.
Torrey Krug on the move. This is what he likes to do. He lugs that puck. Kept in by Pasternak. Made a good play. Gets it through to Zdeno Chara. Now to Krug. Brought back by Marchand. Out for Zdeno Chara. It's by him out of the zone.
Sam, you mentioned Krug. He says, I've got to skate it a lot more now with Krejci out of the lineup than I did before.
Gillespie gets it back. Pasternak to Chara. Save! Chara still shoots at about 100 miles an hour. Rangers 2-on-1. Stolberg moves in with Tanner Glass. It hopped over his stick. He had to elevate the pass. And Glass was not able to handle it.
Just a little bit too far. Was still in the air when it came to Glass.
Nice play by Lundqvist out to get the puck off the glass. Knocked down by Bolesky, but cleared by Zuccarello, and that will do it for the Bruins power play. 3 shots on goal for the Bruins on the power play. Rangers with a good penalty kill, and there's still no score in the game with 8:55 to go in the first period. Pressure on Dennis Seidenberg. Taken away from Kemppainen. Jonas Kemppainen, number 41. Kevin Miller moving it up for Brett Connolly. Rangers take it back. Boyle's pass goes all the way down, turns into an icing on the Rangers. 8:39 to go here in the first period.
Well, Henrik Lundqvist made a couple of really good saves, including this one. There's Bergeron where he gets it. He knows he's got a little bit of space, so he just turns and fires. Lundqvist made a good save on him, and then right after that, that shot by Zdeno Chara. He got everything on that one, as you mentioned, Sam. Even at age 39, he still has one of the hardest shots in the game.
Here's Torrey Krug around the boards for Brett Connolly. Connolly, former first-round draft pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's blocked out of the zone.
Boy, he has struggled. He's a goal scorer in junior hockey. That's what he was drafted as. And he has struggled to score goals. He was a healthy scratch against Ottawa last game.
It was a 2-1 game. Ottawa winning in overtime. Similar to the Rangers, the Bruins came close to winning. They hit the post, then Ottawa came down and won it on a rebound score.
And Connolly's got 17 straight games without scoring a goal.
8:01 to go, an icing whistle against the Boston Bruins. Rangers 6 shots on goal, Bruins with 5. No score in the game. There's Kreider. Looks like he's in fine shape, skating well early in the game. The line is Hayes, Kreider, and Foss.
Yeah, and as Alain Vigneault said, for Kreider, he's got great speed, have to use it. He's got tremendous strength and power, has to play like a power forward. And then he's got just a tremendous shot, and he's got to use that and go to the difficult areas, which is in front of the net. Those 3 things, and Chris Kreider will be a real factor for this team.
That's the game plan. Colin Miller up the boards for Marchand and Bergeron. Back to Miller. Look, shoot, save by Lundqvist. Tough shot. Another Miller shot blocked by McDonough. Back behind the net, Klein moves it. Marchand there to play it. Klein able to clear it out. Kevin Klein has really been active on defense in this first period.
He's just been really good. He's a really solid defenseman. He can block shots, he can move the puck, he can shoot the puck.
Tipped ahead by Stepan, but Zdeno Chara was there. Bruins head the other way. Bolesky leaves it for Eriksson. Behind the net, Boyle there to play it. Has room to skate it. His pass was broken up by Eriksson. The puck never got out of the zone, so it wasn't an offside. The Bruins immediately apply pressure on Boyle. Bolesky trying to take it away from Boston. Trotman in deep.
Again, look where the defenseman is. Trotman, the defenseman, way inside the hash marks.
Stepan gets to the red line, fires it around the boards. Chara clears it right out. Mark Stahl takes over. 6:25 to go, first period. Rangers haven't had a shot on goal in a few minutes. Stuck on 6.
That power play changed things. They had some good shifts, and then they take the penalty, and there's a little momentum change, even though Boston did not score.
Tanner Glass taken down by Kemppainen. Fans react, nothing called. Girardi with a wrist shot, saved by Raskin. He holds it. With Dominic Moore battling around the net, looking for a rebound. Tanner Glass was there as well. No score, Rangers and Bruins. Pace patiently waiting his turn, but always with a lot to offer up is John Giannone. John, what's happening?
Well, Sam, here's what I can offer so far from what I've heard from the Rangers. Two things. First, they're definitely stressing speed through the neutral zone. The coaches are really screaming it every time the Rangers get the puck and get out of their own zone. They want speed through the neutral zone. The other thing, Joe, you mentioned early on how the Rangers were doing a good job deep in the offensive zone. I'm hearing warnings from the Ranger players to their defensemen about how Boston is sending a guy behind the Ranger defenseman while that puck is deep. We saw Ryan Spooner early on get a partial break with that, so maybe that's something to watch.
Good stuff. He always offers up good stuff. JT Miller checked by Seidenberg. Colin Miller moves it up the boards, kept in by Tiki Yandel. Now Brassard. Pass across, tipped wide by Zuccarello. Nice move, Zuccarello. To Yandel. Now to Brassard. Wrist shot blocked in front. And chipped off the glass by Landon Ferraro. Talbot sends it in. Bruins were offside. They clear out. And Yandel heads up ice. Good play by Pasternak. Fired in by Derek Stepan. Blast around the board. Stopped by Stepan. Around to Chris Kreider. The other way. Marchand. Right to him is Megna. Krug able to move it.
Already a change of lines up front for the Rangers with Kreider and Stepan reunited.
Fost looking to play it. McDonough checked by Marchand. Pasternak there. Good play by McDonough. And Klein lifts it out. Now Jesper Fast moves in. Turns. That was a pass. Just missed by Kevin Klein. Ryder fanned on it. Spooner's got it. And a save. I don't know if that went through Lundqvist and came back off the post, but it did not go in.
He did not know that he made the save.
4:18 to go in the first period. Bad giveaway leads to a big chance for the Bruins. Ryan Spooner had it off the post. Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Earlier in the season, first 32 games, Rangers were dominant in the first period. Didn't give up much, just 16 goals. Last 9 games, they've given up 11 goals in the first period.
Well, Chris Kreider was actually going for a change when the puck came over. You see him wave to the bench like, oh, I'll play this, and then he misplays it. And Spooner with an excellent move, but off the post.
Whew. That was close. And Girardi. Long pass for Rick Nash. Driving for that. Nash gets the shot off. And Jesper Fast driving to the net. The line here is Hayes, Fast, and Nash. Saved with a left pad by Lundqvist. Bolesky. That hit Mark Stahl. Stahl double team was batted away by Marchand.
Oh, Spooner again with that chance. And Lundqvist. Yeah, we got a pad on that one.
Cleared out of the zone. Fast was kicked ahead by Nash. Rangers changing. Early line tweak. Eileen Vigneault. And out with a puck from Victor Stahlberg with Tanner Glass. Stahlberg forced back by Trotman. Yandel missed it. Race for the puck. Jimmy Hayes after it. Yandel trying to cut him off. Hayes fell down, slid into Lundqvist after shooting wide, and the referee telling Hayes to get up and get back in the play. And Ed was knocked off. They continued playing as the puck went down the other end.
Yeah, well, the Rangers had control of the puck, and they were on a rush, so they don't blow the whistle if your team's got a chance. They've got control of the puck. Once it's turned over, then they blow the whistle, and they'll fix the net. But Hayes just, he loses his footing there. That's a hard collision. Lundqvist did see him coming and was able to brace himself. You see him just losing his footing and shoots it wide.
3 minutes remaining, first period. The score of the game. Shots are even at 8 apiece. Puck stopped by McDonough. Long shot off the shoulder of Tuukka Rask.
Roy McDonough's doing a good job of getting pucks through lately.
Lead for Zuccarello. Brassard trailing him. Brassard shoots. Stick save by Rask. Went off the netting and play stopped with 2:40 to go in this first period. Thursday night on MSG, the Rangers' second visit to Brooklyn as they take on the Islanders and John Tavares and the rest of the gang. Live coverage begins at 6:30 with Visa Rangers Game Night with Bill Pino. Rangers and the Islanders Thursday night at 7 p.m. Hope you'll join us. It'll be a good one. It'll be our first visit on MSG to Barclays Center. Last time the Rangers were there was in NBC Sportsnet game. Scramble in the crease. Lundqvist trying to dive on top. The puck was cleared aside. Lundqvist back in position. Off the end boards and off the back of the net. Landon Ferraro's got it. Ferraro looking. Trying to get it through to Ronaldo. Good play by Boyle. Ferraro swings it around the boards. Chara comes down to get it. Ronaldo with Yandel on him. And Jason Megna will work his way loose and get it out of the zone. Puck carried by Zach Trotman. And that's whistled down from icing.
Yeah, Trotman needed another step to get to the red line. Meanwhile, the Bruins, just prior to that, Derek Stepan came back in front of the net, did a pretty good job, but Zach Ronaldo will end up with a chance and misses. There's a chance in front, scrambling around, good job, and then there's Ronaldo with the shot that goes up high and wide. There's Stepan does a real good job on Max Talbot in front, and eventually Lundqvist knocks the puck out, but the shot by Ronaldo goes over the net. What a chance.
Hayes and Spooner on the face-off. And a Seidenberg trying to lift it on the backhand, but it was blocked, chipped off the glass by Ferraro. Spooner offside. Ferraro ahead of the play. 1:33 to go in the first period. The Bruins have had the only power play of the game.
Of course, his dad is our friend Ray, who had an outstanding professional career and has now turned into an outstanding broadcaster for TSN up in Canada. Did you see the game when he got traded, or they got picked up off waivers by Boston, scored a goal, and Ray just happened to be doing the game between the benches and interviewed him? It was classic. Great stuff.
Stolberg moves in, a shot blocked by Colin Miller. Girardi tried to keep it in. Bruins come out with it. Louis Eriksson. That went off of Mark Stahl, and Stolberg is back for it. Mark Stahl paired here with Dan Girardi. Stahl waits. Rangers completing a line change. Girardi up ahead. That was intercepted by Pasternak. Brought back in Marchand. Under a minute to go in the first period. Stahl got the stick up high on Marchand. Bruins keep it in. Marchand. Stahl stays with him. Pasternak. JT Miller with a good hit. Bergeron up the boards to Krug. Good job by Stolberg. Got out to Krug in a hurry. Bergeron's backhander kicked away by Stahl in front. Stolberg softly drops it into the Bruins zone. Kevin Miller backs on. Kevin Miller, a native of Los Angeles. And he's a free agent by the Bruins. Third season with the Bruins. Good play by McDonough at the red line. Brings it back in. Beats JT Miller. And that was a pass for Brassard, who was tied up by Krug at the side of the net. Krug with a good play. Lifts it. Goes out of play. And the horn sound ending the first period. And an even first period. Not much to choose from. Rangers 10 shots, Bruins 11. Bruins the only power play, no score, end of one.
It was a really good period, I thought, Sam. Both goaltenders had to make some big saves. Both teams at times created some quality scoring chances. It was hard fought, but there was nothing cheap. Just the one power play opportunity for the Bruins.
Bruins head off. Rangers head for their locker room. We go downstairs to the Visa Gameside studio. Al Trotwig standing by. Al.
Well, Sam, in the upcoming Delta Intermission Report, I'll talk to Kevin Hayes, playing against his brother, obviously. They had dinner. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about how evenly matched these teams are. Plus, in the Audi MSG 150, Bill Pito will take us around the National Hockey League, and Anson Carter joins us to break down a scoreless first period. So no surprise, these two teams are balanced in the standings, balanced in the stats, and even in the game. 0-0 as we stand heading to the Delta Intermission Report at Madison Square Garden in New York.
We are back and getting set for the second period. Rangers and the Boston Bruins are scoreless. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. Now it's time for our Blue Seat Memories, this day in Rangers history, presented by Resorts World Casino, New York City, proud sponsor of the Rangers Blue Seats. January 11th, 1987, Tomas Sandstrom scored 4 goals. The Rangers beat the Vancouver Canucks 8-3. Walt Podubny, who was the center on that line, with a goal and 2 assists. Blue Seat Memories. Getting set for the second period. One of the Miller boys on the ice, JT Miller. What are your thoughts, Joe?
I just thought, Sam, it was a really good period by both teams. I just think that both teams wanted to play hard without taking penalties. And again, just the one power play. That was the high stick by Megna. And a couple of good chances. Bergeron had a good chance, and he was also, surprisingly, right, excellent on face-offs. One of the best in the game since he came into the league. He won 5 and lost 2. So he had a chance. Kevin Klein defensively, I thought, was really, really solid. Just making plays. Pasternak is the young 19-year-old that they hope can find his game. This is his 4th game since returning from a broken foot. He got hit in early December in the foot. He came back. He played a couple of games, had trouble skating. They took x-rays initially, didn't see anything, and then finally when the swelling went down, they found a crack in his foot that kept him out for 7 weeks.
Linesman did a little work on the ice in the crease belonging to Henrik Lundqvist for the second period. Rangers open the period with Brassard, Zuccarello, and Miller, McDonough, and Klein. Ryan McDonough pressured on the play. Marchand is there, number 63. Marchand with Bergeron and Pasternak. Klein stays on Marchand. Pasternak out to Torrey Krug. Now David Pasternak toward the net. A deflection, a save. Lundqvist looked behind him, but it was in between the pads. What a deflection in front. Outstanding.
Yeah, that was Bergeron that got the deflection. It was Torrey Krug that was able to get his shot through. And then Bergeron knew that Lundqvist wasn't sure where it was. Here it is again. Oh, pardon me. It's Pasternak that takes the shot. And Bergeron with the redirection, and he goes right back after Lundqvist as he sees Lundqvist's head going from side to side trying to find the puck.
Off the board, stop, fired toward the net. Eriksson shot deflects wide. Chipped off the glass by Stepan. Stepan, Nash, and Megna on for the Rangers with Stahl and Boyle. Trotman to Chara. Chara across, trying to get it to Bolesky. Rangers send it away. And Zach Trotman takes over. Bruins moving quickly.
Zach Trotman is an interesting story, Sam. When he plays on the #1 unit with Zdeno Chara. And when he's not on that unit, he's a healthy scratch, which is most of the other time. Yeah, it's the only time he plays is with Chara.
Bolesky's shot went off of Lundqvist. Seidenberg takes it deep. And Kapanen was stopped by Mark Stahl. Good poke check by Stahl. And Boyle lifts it out of the zone. Early pressure from the Bruins, their first couple of shifts. Colin Miller, who came over to Boston in the big trade with the LA Kings involving Milan Lucic. Miller's pass went by Brett Connolly. Again, it's Colin Miller looking for a shooting lane. Connolly Up to Seidenberg. Now to Miller. And he missed the shot. It went wide. And the big windup has turned into a change of pace. Kevin Hayes was pressured and almost wound up as a shot on goal. 3-on-2 the other way. And Kreider breaks his stick as he tried the shot. Jesper Fast is tied up by Max Talbot. And as Seidenberg bangs it off the glass, down the ice it goes. It'll be an icing on the Bruins.
Well, the reason why Kreider had that open lane is because Miller was the defenseman for the Bruins that was in front of the net that knocked the puck off the stick of Hayes, and it almost went in. And so now when there's room on that side, the only defenseman back is Dennis Seidenberg. And as you can see, Kreider tries to just snap it, and he did. Snap the stick.
That's right. You said he was strong, Joe.
He is. He's looking to pass, but he was thinking correctly anyway. From that position, Seidenberg was playing the pass.
Keith Yandel sends it back the other way. Brassard puts it in the Bruins zone. And Tuukka Rask keeps it moving. Good hustle by Zuccarello. Brassard takes the pass and sets up Boyle. The shot got through. The save made by Rask.
Boy, and then Rask did a nice job with the stick as J.T. Miller was right there looking for a rebound. Rask batted the puck into the corner.
Good work along the boards. Now the Bruins take it away, and Landon Ferraro's got it. Lundqvist stops it. Quick look around. The Rangers move it up. McDonough to Brassard and across to Zuccarello. It's in on Torrey Krug. Zuccarello controlling. The pass is tipped. Dominic Moore's got it. Moore turns, shoots, saved by Rask with J.T. Miller right in front of the goaltender. Good job by Miller. 3:17 gone by in the second period. A look at the Kia Eastern Conference standings. Washington Capitals, who are on another winning streak with 67 points up top. Then look how close the rest of the conference is. Rangers and Islanders in a virtual tie. Rangers a game at hand being played tonight. And you see how tight that race is for the playoffs and the wild card spot.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of Washington, congratulations, Alex Ovechkin.
Yes.
2 goals last night, 501 in his career.
Shot toward the net, save made. 500 goals. He reached the 500 goal mark in his 801st game.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
5th fastest in the history of the game. Boy, what a player.
Battle behind the Bruins net. Bergeron reverses to Chara.
You know, Sam, when you hear Wayne Gretzky and some of the great offensive players we've seen say, you know what, it's a lot harder to score now than it was when we played. And I think he's right, but Ovechkin keeps finding ways.
Bergeron had that last shot on goal, a good one. You're right, Joe, and certainly Wayne is right as well. But Alex Ovechkin is so big and so strong and so skilled.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing. And last night, his 500th goal, a typical Alex Ovechkin power play goal from the top of the circle.
Wrist shot.
That shot blocked in front. Bolesky tries again. A good play by Mark Stahl. Stahl's had a good game to this point. Lundqvist stops inside of the net, leaves it for Mark Stahl. Just off the bench, Rick Nash. Rask steers it into the corner. Megna hustles for it. Nash put it in front, went off a skate. And the Bruins come out with it. Ryan Spooner's pass broken up by Dan Boyle.
By the way, Girardi to the bench with a bad right hand. He's having that looked at by Jim Ramsey. The Rangers did a good job. He was one of them blocking shots in front. And this doesn't look good as he's going to head straight to the locker room. 15 minutes to go. I think he was cut on the play when he blocked the shot. So he's going to have to go off and get some treatment for that.
Hopefully to return. Bruins control the face-off. Chara fires it in. And McDonough there to play it. Now Dan Boyle. Short passes. The Rangers move out with it. Here comes McDonough. On the move and the shot. Wide. Around the boards. Spooner clears it out for Bolesky. Kevin Hayes is there. Long outlet to Jesper Fast. Boyle in deep. And he gets back into, Fast was able to cover up. Here's Hayes with a lead to Stolberg. Glove save made by Rask, and he holds it. 5:40 gone by. Here in the second period, scoreless game. Thursday night at 6, Bill Pito sits down with Coach Alain Vigneault to talk all things Rangers on an all-new edition of the AV Squad presented by Cadillac. Thursday night at 6, leading into Rangers Islanders at 6:30 on MSG Network. That was Keith Yandle who took that last shot coming off the bench. Yandle's got the puck, winds up in the drive blocked by Connolly, broke his stick. Nash moves it up the boards. Connolly stopped it with his skates. Rangers trying to take it back. Trotman was able to move it aside, and it's out of the zone. And the Bruins get out of some trouble. A little over 6 minutes gone by in the second. Scoreless game. Keith Yandle. Step on to Nash. Nash checked by Jimmy Hayes. Hayes with a takeaway. Nash with a hit on Jimmy Hayes. And it's cleared out by Kemppainen. JT Miller on the boards. Trotman's got it. Now Brad Marchand. Marchand shoots, glove save by Lundqvist, and he holds it. 6:44 gone by. Second period, Rangers and Bruins. No score. DraftKings brings us our DraftKings Spotlight. Spotlight on the centers in the NHL with the best plus minus or best plus rating since 2011-2012. Jonathan Toews of Chicago, #1, but right behind Patrice Bergeron, and not far behind that, Derek Stepan, #4 spot. Play daily fantasy hockey on DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Rangers.
3 Selke trophies for Patrice Bergeron, signifying the best defensive forward in the National Hockey League.
Face-off win, but Marchand's shot attempt was blocked. Bergeron sending it in. McDonough back for it. Brassard under pressure from Bergeron. Rangers able to come out. JT Miller. Kevin Miller, no relation, stays with him and took it away. Now Brassard up the boards for Kevin Klein. Bergeron. And Marchand plays it across. Pastrnak sending it deep. Klein's got it. Quick outlet pass. Miller was calling for it. Fires toward the net. Stick saved by Rask. Zuccarello around the boards. Bruins take over.
Boy, neither team is giving the other team much room to make plays anywhere on the ice.
Right. Very similar in their approach. On the board, stopped by Ferraro, put it in front, and Stolberg was back. This is Seidenberg. Checked by Tanner Glass. Ferraro after it. On him, Mark Stahl. Landed Ferraro's backhander, deflects across off the glass. Seidenberg hit by Tanner Glass. Stahl. Dominic Moore lost it. Saved by Lundqvist. On the turnover, it wound up on the stick of Zach Rinaldo. And a good save by Lundqvist.
And then Mark Stahl went down awkwardly and was slow to get up. Stahl might have got a stick after all that. Here's the keep in by the Bruins. Again, those defense by Boston. You can see right up at the top of the circle. And Ronaldo ended up with the shot. You can just see the follow through by Ronaldo catches Stahl on the side of the head. That's why he was slow to get up.
Ball still head down on the bench. Puck cleared out.
Remember, the Rangers are already missing a defenseman with Dan Girardi having left to go to the Rangers locker room with a bad hand.
Kevin Hayes, getting from Heinen, number 41, was pressuring him. Rangers move the puck. Kevin Klein. Now Kreider across Jesper Fast. Kreider took a hit, caught up by Chara. Bruins able to clear it out. Fast recovers. 8:50 gone by, second period, no score in the game. Rangers 17 shots, Bruins 16. Kreider with a pass to himself, and Chara is able to stop it. Jimmy Hayes the other way. Scores! Jimmy Hayes, the big man with a big snap shot. And it beat Henrik Lundqvist. And the Bruins grab the lead.
Boy, he did snap that one. You know, Kreider trying to make a play coming out of his own zone by putting the puck off the boards to himself. But Chara, here comes the play, but Chara stays up and uses his stick to keep it going the other way. Here comes the Bruins the other way, and Jimmy Hayes with that shot. I don't think it went off the stick of Klein. Let's see, here's our Coke Zero super slow-mo. No way, that just beat Lundqvist to the far side, inside the post. And that'll be Jimmy Hayes with the goal, and the Bruins with a 1-0 lead.
Hayes' 10th goal of the season. It comes at 9:04 of the second period. Nash moves in. Now Megna shot deflected on the way in. A stop by Rask, and it was cleared aside. The outlet to Spooner. McDonough checks in. Bolesky with a shot wide. Hayes from Spooner and Chara at 9:04. Nash with Stepan. Nash moves in. Saved by Rask. Puck went behind the net. Stepan's pass tipped and out of the zone. Megna fires it ahead for Stepan. Torrey Krug takes over from Austin. This will be an icing on the Bruins past the midway point of this second period, 9:59 to go.
Now Rick Nash with a couple of chances for the Rangers, just moving the puck and then getting it back hard to the net. Tries to get a rebound. Rask keeps that out, and then this one, odd man rush, 2-on-1. And he looked over at Stepan without a way to get it through, took the shot again. And Rask has been solid for the Bruins.
Brassard won that last face-off. Brassard with the puck. Makes a move on Bergeron. Pass across, goes through. Mark Stahl is there. Chara takes it back for Boston. Off the glass. Carello and Bergeron. Kevin Klein clears it out. Chara puts it back in the Ranger zone. Took a weird bounce. Whoa. Shot by Talbot, a deflection, and it's stopped by Lundqvist. Started as an innocent play, took a bad carom off the glass, and suddenly turned into a scoring chance for the Bruins. Ronaldo's shot blocked away by Lundqvist. Trotman sends it back in. Stahl there to stop it. Down to Kevin Klein. Back the other way. Dahlberg out for Dominic Moore. Moore was stopped at the line. Seidenberg. Back after the puck. Dan Boyle turns into an icing on Boston. 8:39 to go here in the second period. United by Blue, game day and every day. Experience the official Rangers app to connect to breaking news, enhanced calendar, and a whole lot more. It's a great app. Download it as soon as you can. The Rangers official app. Quick thanks to Gary Rosen and his son Adam from Short Hills, New Jersey, who visited us here in the booth, and their generous donation to the Garden of Dreams telethon that we had. And we thank them for their generosity.
Yeah, Adam was the lucky son of the three.
Seidenberg back for Colin Miller. Around the glass, blocked by Yandel. Talbot tried to force it out. He did to Ronaldo. Zach Ronaldo moves in and shoots off the glove of Lundqvist. Had trouble with it. Landon Ferraro was taken down. Good play by the Rangers, and Ferraro trying to get for the rebound. Bruins a 1-0 lead. Lundqvist waits. Gave it away to Jimmy Hayes. Shot toward the net and hit Yandel in the boot, the left skate. He went down, but he seems to be okay. Back into the Rangers zone. Yandel back for it. Rangers need something. The fans trying to get into it. Trying to build a Let's Go Rangers chant. Torrey Krug double team. Stepan goes over to play it. Now Rick Nash comes off the boards. Stepan. That was Megna trying to get it to Stepan. Nash takes it back. Spun around by Kemppainen. Kevin Klein with Jimmy Hayes on him. And once again, Klein forced back. Good pass from McDonough, and Kreider sends it in. Krug swings it around. Bolesky couldn't handle it. Kevin Hayes kept it in. Bolesky went down.
Bolesky, he's got a problem with his skate because the shot blocking apparatus that he has on his skate came undone. And now he makes his way to the bench.
Meanwhile, the Rangers gain possession. Kreider for Boyle. All the way across. And Trotman is there for Boston. 6:20 to go in the second. There's been only one penalty in this game. That was for the Rangers.
I'll tell you, Sam, these teams, they want to be careful. You know, they're playing hard, but these points are precious.
Broussard takes it deep, pulls up. The back pass for Klein was deflected, goes out of the zone. Marchand on the forecheck on Kevin Klein, ties him up. Klein, his outlet pass was blocked by Trotman. Gunna. That's tipped ahead by J.T. Miller. And the Bruins go to get it.
Yeah, the Rangers just not able to carry the puck over the blue line in this period. For that matter, Boston either. I mean, again, both these teams, you know, forcing each other to dump the puck, to go after it and try and grind it out.
Talbot for Boston. Center glass for the Rangers. Big battle for the puck. Talbot. He gets hit by Dan Boyle. And Glass with the pass ahead to Dominic Moore. Rangers were offside on the play. They have to touch up. They do. 5 minutes to go in the second. Talbot puts it in the Rangers zone. Fired out by Yandel. Moore went off of Moore's stick. Back into the Rangers zone again. Long pass for Megna. Seidenberg moves it. Colin Miller up ahead for Jimmy Hayes. And it turns into an icing on Boston with 4:41 to go here in the second. What happened to Matt Bolesky?
Well, he wants that shot blocking guard. He gets knocked down there. You see him trying to get up, and he's stepping on that thing, and can't get it off. And now he's hoping that his team can get the puck down the ice, and it's all hooked on there, and they're able to get it down, so he's able to make his way to the bench.
False start on the face-off. Hayes and Kemppainen. Shots have been close throughout the game. They're even at 20. With 4:40 to go here in the second. Bruins with a 1-0 lead on the goal by Jimmy Hayes. Colin Miller tied up behind the net. Jimmy Hayes. Kevin is on the ice. Stopped by Kevin. Tries to move it into the Boston zone. Brett Connolly gets it across. Colin Miller's got it. return. Kemppainen with a shot saved by Lundqvist. Jesper Fast across to Ryan McDonough. Rangers captain winds it deep. Krug was bumped by Kevin Hayes. Puts it in front. Nobody there. Rangers were changing and completed a line change. Is Lundqvist taking the bouncer and holding it with 3:47 to go in the second period. Battle of the Hayes brothers, part of the storyline tonight. Right now, Jimmy Hayes and the Bruins have the lead. Here's our Cadillac trivia question of the night. Who has the most NHL points among active Massachusetts-born players? Think of all the Massachusetts-born players you can think of. Come up with the answer. It's a good question.
Very good question. It's not the Hayes brothers.
Keith Tkachuk still playing? Can I put him back in? Oleski. Now Mark Stahl. Pass. Here's Boyle. Saved by Rask. Rangers moved as well. Boyle, Megda, and Nash on that rush. Taken back by Stepan. Taken away by Eriksson. He missed the net wide. Stepan. Pressured by Ryan Spooner. Boyle lifting it toward the net. Good play by Rask. Came out, gloved it, taking it out of the air and holding on with 2:59 to go here in the second period. Experience the lounges at Madison Square Garden, a spectacular group and hospitality space on the bridge level. For more information, call 212-465-6080 or visit NewYorkRangers.com. Bruins come out with it. Pastrnak leading Marchand. Marchand checked there by Klein. Bergeron. Klein in the corner. Stepped in front of Marchand. Was able to move it. Rangers come out with it. Brassard with Zuccarello. Zuccarello takes it around the net. Out to McDonough. Good play by Pastrnak on McDonough.
And then a good play by McDonough on Pastrnak. Keep him from going the other way.
Klein's pass intercepted. Talbot just off the bench. His shot deflected off the Klein. Pastrnak was taken down by McDonough in front of the net. Good pass, McDonough to Zuccarello. Zuccarello against Seidenberg. Colin Miller comes over to play it. Off the board, stopped by Yandel. Miller took a hit from Tanner Glass. Dominic Moore against Colin Miller. Nice move by Moore to avoid a hit. Colin Miller moves it to Ferraro. Now Dennis Seidenberg. Big drive blocked by Boyle. Yandel moves it around for Victor Stahlberg. Pass was blocked. Lundqvist plays it off the board, stopped by Ronaldo. Pass behind Ferraro, chases after it against Yandel. Now Ronaldo. Moore on him. Trotman for Boston takes a hit, shot off the side of the net. Kemppainen. Out to Trotman. The big windup save by Lundqvist. Here's a chance for Connolly off the post. Trotman to the side of the net. Kemppainen. Now Jimmy Hayes to Brett Connolly. Out to Chara. Trotman wanted a wrist shot, then stopped. Back behind the net. Kemppainen for Boston. Stahlberg for the Rangers. Yandel is there against Jimmy Hayes. That's a Massachusetts battle.
That's a long skip by that Ranger line where the Bruins were able to get a change and a fresh line on the ice, and now finally the Rangers able to change.
Final seconds of this second period. Bruins applying some pressure. Brett Connolly came close and hit the post. 10 seconds to go in this period. McDonough moves up with it. Looks around, feeds Mark Stahl. And into the Bruins zone it goes, and that's it. 1-0, end of 2, only goal of the period. For the Boston Bruins, Jimmy Hayes came across the blue line, snapped off a shot that beat Henrik Lundqvist. And it's a 1-0 game. Rangers head off trailing. Bruins head off with a 1-0 lead. We go down to the Visa Gameside studio to Al Trotwing.
Hey, Sam, on the New York Lottery Intermission Report, I'll be talking to Rangers defenseman Kevin Klein, who continues to impress. Bill Pito has the Audi MSG 150. He'll take you around the National Hockey League. And I'm joined by Anson Carter to break down what we have seen so far in this game. Jimmy Hayes scores the only goal in it. The Rangers failing to sustain pressure. It's the New York Lottery Intermission Report, and it's coming right up.
We are back getting set for the third period. Rangers and Bruins. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. John Giannone has his coach's report for us right now.
Yeah, Sam, honest words again from Ulf Samuelsson. I said, what's the talk? What's the mood like in there? He said, it's down, it's quiet, meaning the Ranger dressing room. He said, it looks like we played a below-average game so far, but it doesn't matter. We need to get some energy going here. Maybe a hit, maybe a fight, then maybe a goal or two. We need something to get this crowd behind us because these are two huge points. When I said what Boston's been doing, he said, we're not getting much time in their zone. It's several factors. We're not quick and crisp with our breakouts. We're not together. They're clogging up the neutral zone, and we're not getting much possession time in the offensive zone. We're a step behind with our pressure and our forecheck. He said if we clean up those areas, at least we'll have a chance to create. Boston's not going to pinch much in the third, he said, so don't look for a lot of odd man rushes.
Yeah, good stuff, John. The attempted shots in this game, 51 for Boston, 30 for the Rangers. I agree with Anson. I mean, you got to get players going to the net. Make it tough for Tuukka Rask, who's been solid, but he has been able to see everything.
Good pass, Brassard to Zuccarello. Zuccarello checked by Torrey Krug. Around it goes. Kevin Miller sends it up the board. Stopped by McDonough. Pastrnak tries to stop him. McDonough keeps it alive. Now Zuccarello to the net. They score! Derek Brassard has tied it at 1. Great effort by McDonough and Zuccarello, and Brassard cashes in.
Well, the Rangers, they pitch in, they keep the play alive, and then Zuccarello will just take it to the net. That's McDonough again with the play that starts it. McDonough will get an assist just as he did in the third period against Washington. And here's going hard to the net. Things happen when you get bodies there and you get the puck there, and eventually on the other side as that puck slithers through, Derek Brassard ties it.
Rangers scored 3 goals in the third period against Dallas, 3 goals in the third period against Washington, and they score a goal here in the first minute of the third period against the Bruins to tie the game.
Sam, 3 of the last 4 games, the Rangers have scored 3 in the third period.
Trotman. Now Chara couldn't ask for a better start. Getting the crowd into it. Rangers score a goal in the opening shift of the third period. Keith Yandel on the move. JT Miller. That was a pass for Stepan that just missed. Puck gets by Jason Megna, and he goes back to get it. Brassard gets his 15th from Zuccarello and McDonough at 35 seconds. That's the Rangers chant up from the crowd. Turns into an icing. They're looking for deflection in center. Didn't get it. Icing on the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers defense, and we talked about that at the top of the show. And McDonough, once, twice, 3 times, keeps the play alive and then gets some help. Help from Zuccarello, then the finish from Derek Brassard.
10 third period goals over the last 4 games for the Rangers, including the goal that was just scored by Derek Brassard. Kevin Hayes after the puck, and Tynan just ahead of him around the boards. Looked like Jesper Fast got a rut in the ice, almost fell down. Colin Miller. McDonough. Brett Connolly is there. So is Colin Miller. They dig for the puck. It's not Colin Miller, excuse me. That was Jimmy Hayes with Brett Connolly. The puck comes all the way back. And the Bruins there to get it. 2:15 gone by in the third. Game tied 1-1. Torrey Krug. Shot went off the skate of Kevin Klein. Played by Talbot in front. Comes through. Ronaldo missed the net. Rebound save. I believe Lundqvist got a piece of it. May have gone off the post.
No, I think he did, Sam. After Ronaldo had a great chance.
Ferraro trying to make a move. Rangers get it out of the zone.
This has been a good line for the Bruins in this game. Ronaldo came in with 4 shots in 2 periods. Missed the net a couple of times, including that one.
So Ronaldo responding to being a healthy scratch in the last game. And Ferraro skating well. Miller with a good move through the neutral zone. Make the shoot, saved by Rask. He's got the puck. 3:04 gone by in the third.
Yeah, sometimes your goaltender has to make a big save in order to either keep momentum going. And you'll see here the effort. Boy, what a save that was. The right skate gets over there. He actually lifts it off the ice and gets the puck. What a save. I mean, that hit the blade of the skate, then stayed out.
Word from the Rangers locker room is Dan Girardi suffered a lacerated hand and will not return. There's Bergeron for Pastrnak. Moves it to Trotman. That deflects off the skate of Mark Stahl. Bergeron back to Chara for a drive high. Trotman comes down to play it. Stepan checks in. Stahl with a takeaway and Bergeron ties him up. Now Jason Megna trying to get loose. He goes down. Rangers have the puck. Dan Boyle skates it clear. Trotman back for it. 4 minutes gone by here in the third period. The Rangers scoring in the opening minute of the period to tie the game at 1. Sarge getting his 15th of the season. To match the goal scored by Jimmy Hayes in the second period. Hayes getting his 10th. Stolberg finds it deep. Dominic Moore is there. And Seidenberg on him. Now Stolberg off the post. Oh, he just missed. It would have been 3 games in a row for Victor Stolberg with a goal. Just missed. Now McDonough. Both teams coming close. Colvin was robbed on the skate save by Lundqvist. And Stolberg was robbed by the post. Zuccarello deep. Checked there by Kevin Miller. Brassard against Krug. That's tip kept in by Yandel. Brassard. Rick Nash circling. Now Yandel. That goes off the skate. Boyle leads it for Nash. Nash checked by Kemppainen. And the Bruins come out with it. Jimmy Hayes. They were bumped it in. Zuccarello chips it right back out. Trotman winds up. Around the glass he goes, bounces down. Boyle tied up by Talbot. Handled to Boyle. Rangers playing with 5 defensemen since early in the second period. 5 minutes into the period, Girardi went out. Klein gets a pass through to Kreider. Stahl moves in. Pass across, tipped away. Played by Kevin Hayes, gets knocked down by Talbot. And the puck picked up by Ronaldo to Ferraro. 6 minutes gone by in the third. Klein takes it back, clears it out to Jesper Fast. To Perrat. Now Colin Miller. The outlet to Bergeron. Patrice Bergeron moves across. Pass blocked. Pastrnak taken down by Boyle. who thought he might have been in danger of getting a penalty. Colin Miller. Miller gets it back, leads Pasternak, puts it in the Ranger zone.
A little bit better pace to this game in the third period now that it's tied.
Good hit behind the net by McDonough. That's fired just wide of the net. Race for the puck. Oh, it was whistled for icing. It looked like Jason Megna was moving ahead of Dennis Seidenberg. And you can see Alain Vigneault's upset with the icing call.
Well, I don't blame him on this one. And with Jason Megna's speed, and it's a smart play by Stepan, because Stepan he knows that Megna has that tremendous speed. And so now they're getting an explanation. There's Megna. There's no question that Megna's on the right side of the man, Dennis Seidenberg, who tried to slow him down, but they call the icing. So face-off down in the Ranger zone.
The call stands. Rangers win the draw and clear it out. Bruins send it back in. And a long pass from Miller deflects across, and the Bruins take it back. Here's Zdeno Chara. Zach Trotman. Off the board, stopped by McDonough. There's Zuccarello. Pass tipped away by Ryan Spooner. Boy, both teams are playing tough defense. You said it earlier, Joe. Not much room to make a play.
There isn't, is there? Every now and then, because of a real good pass, there's a little that they spring somebody, but that doesn't happen very often. And there's another icing. Both teams are forcing the other teams into icings because of the defensive play. And meanwhile, after the Rangers tied it, and Sam, you talked about Stallberg goals in back-to-back games. That's almost goals in back-to-back-to-back. As that goes just off the post. Real strong move by Stallberg, coming in, getting to his forehand, and moving himself into a little better angle to get that shot.
Kemppainen wins the faceoff. Shot by Trotman was blocked by Klein. Kevin Klein moves it up. Just past Zuccarello. And that's put into the Rangers bench, and play stops. 7:42 gone by, third period. Derek Brassard found the puck, put it in the net. Game time. Time to answer the Cadillac Trivia question. Who has the most NHL points among active Massachusetts-born players?
I don't know.
How about Keith Yandel? Just for the fun of it. And there you go.
Nice choice.
Well, he's played 9 years in the league.
Yeah.
Way to go, Keith. Way to help me out. All right. He's had a solid career. Tough choice coming up. When the trade deadline gets there, Keith Yandel will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Big decisions to be made. Experience Blue Shirts hockey in a suite at Madison Square Garden. Whether you're entertaining key clients or hosting potential new ones, there's no better place than a suite to view the action. Call 212-465-6771 or visit NewYorkRangers.com.
That's a quick change. They get that line off the ice for Boston, get the Bergeron line back out against the Brassard line, which has been the matchup most of this game.
Chara with a check on Brassard, takes him out of the play, trying to get it out in front of Zuccarello. Zuccarello has it again. Finds McDonough, shot it wide, missed the shot. Brassard in his battle with Chara lost his helmet, has it back, and has it back on. And now the Bruins take control. 8.5 minutes gone by in the third period. Chara. Stallberg on the forecheck. Chara lifts it up and out of the zone, knocked down by McDonough. Chara with the outlet again. Zach Rinaldo with the puck. One person. One hands it back into the corner. Ball is there. Talbot, his pass off the skate out of the zone. And recovered by Colin Miller. Rangers with a goal to start this third period. The first shift of the third period. Brassard scoring to tie the game. Takeaway by JT Miller. Miller has it again, and shot deflected. Goes high off the glass. Battle along the boards. There's been a lot of that throughout the game.
So you got to change the left wingers on these two lines. Nash goes back with Brassard. JT Miller moves with Stepan.
Stepan Megna and Miller on the ice. Stepan goes deep against Colin Miller. Sets up JT for a shot saved by Rask. 10-11 to go in the third period. In a 1-1 game, the upcoming schedule brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Look at this schedule. 3 games in 4 days. 7 p.m. Thursday in Brooklyn, Rangers and the Islanders on MSG. 1 p.m. Saturday, Rangers at the Flyers. 5 p.m. Sunday, Rangers at the Washington Capitals. All those games on MSG, all preceded 1/2 hour by Visa Rangers game night. That's some good games there.
Every one of them.
Here's Kreider, checked by Kevin Miller. McDonough winds up. Shot deflected by Bolesky. Kevin Hayes able to kick it over. Shot by Kreider, saved by Rask. Oh, good effort. Started with Kevin Hayes.
Yeah,
and he and Chara battling.
Yeah, that's because Hayes got the elbow up right into the face of Chara, and he didn't like it.
9:51 to go in the third. It's 1-1.
Kevin Hayes gets matched up against Zdeno Chara. And you'll see, watch the elbow right there to the chin of Chara, and he didn't like that. And that turned into this. Scoring chance. Kreider takes the pass, gets the shot. Tuukka Rask with the save and able to cover up. And then Chara goes right back after Kevin Hayes. Chara's expecting, his wife's expecting twins in March. He can't be doing that. Got a 7-year-old daughter and twins on the way.
That's a change.
It's supposed to mellow you out, isn't it? Or maybe not.
Maybe. 9:40 to go in the third. Kevin Klein. Ryan McDonough took the head by Zuccarello, but Chara stops it. Kotlin fires across off the skate of Marchand. Zuccarello's got it. With Brassard in front. Klein toward the net but wide. Bounce past Brassard. Nash gets it back for McDonough. Couldn't keep it in. The Rangers have to regroup as Kevin Klein goes back together. These are the games, Joe. These tight games on home ice. You just feel that these are games that our team has to win.
You got to get wins. I mean, you look at the games last night. All the Eastern teams that played the Western teams all won. 4 of them. And so everybody gains, and so you're at home. You gotta try and get these points.
Florida won again last night in Edmonton. They'll play in Vancouver, going for 13 games in a row, 13 wins in a row for Florida if they can win tonight. But they'll be without Aaron Ekblad, their outstanding young defenseman who was injured last night. Coming up, the Foxwoods Final 5. Foxwoods, the wonder of it all.
Florida scores 2 goals in the first 7 minutes. Hardly get another shot the rest of the game and win it 2-1.
Al Montoya made it stand up.
8-1, I believe he is now.
It's 7-1-1, I think.
Okay.
Outstanding. Yeah, and tonight Roberto Luongo will start in Vancouver against his former team. Nice save by Lundqvist with a left pad. Jason Megna driving hard to the net, but Krug stayed right with him. Shot by JT Miller, deflected away by Kevin Miller. Cleared out by Jimmy Hayes. Stahl chipping it ahead. Goes past Stepan. Bruins turn it quickly. JT Miller with a hit on Connolly.
Boy, JT Miller continues to play well. He hits, he gets scoring chances, he sets up plays.
Stahl dumps it in. He's been very, very consistent.
Well, Sam, it doesn't matter what line you play him on, he's effective.
Ronaldo dumps it in, chases after it against Kevin Klein. Klein able to move away. Dominic Moore. 7:40 to go in the third. Tanner Glass, who was credited with 7 hits through 2 periods. Tanner Glass digging for it. Now it's Moore spinning. Pass in front. Keith Yandle fakes. Shot by Stolberg hit the outside of the net. And that puck deflected off the glass and out of play. And the faceoff stays in the Boston zone.
Well, really good work by the Rangers down low. Again, beneath the goal line. That fourth line, Tanner Glass got in there quickly. Got some help. And eventually Yandle just looks up and doesn't have a shot. Dishes it off to the side and it goes off the side of the net. That's why Alain Vigneault wanted to keep that fourth line together. They've been effective.
So the numbers on Stolberg, and he's come very close in this game a couple of times. Dan Boyle, Rangers playing with 5 defensemen. Dan Girardi injured early in the second period. Zuccarello toward the net, steered away by Rask. Zuccarello again fired off the side of the net. Off the boards. Trying to stop it, takes it away. Maintains possession, got hooked on the play, nothing called. Long shot steered away by Rask. Brassard back to Boyle. It's deflected and the Bruins clear it out. Pastrnak. Zuccarello takes over. The Rangers have not had a power play in this game. The only other game this season that they didn't have a power play was the opening game of the season in Chicago. Klein to Stahl. Foster stopped by Kevin Miller. Miller was hit by Kreider. Hayes. Kevin Hayes for the Rangers was stopped by Ryan Spooner. Kreider winds it behind the net to Foss. His pass blocked. Good play by Kevin Miller. Stahl. Klein leaves it for Stahl. Under 6 minutes to go in the third. Stepan waits. Was off the glass. It was deflected. Kemppainen taken away by Stepan after a hit by Miller. Megna moves in on to Seidenberg. It's Jason Megna for JT Miller. Back to Megna. Out to Yandle. Takes the shot. Now he takes a tip wide. A deflection by Stepan, who's skating right through the slot.
These lines have been better since the change was made. Miller's stepped up and really helped his Stepan line be more effective. They're getting more chances with Miller on that side.
Zuccarello carries the puck. Brassard with a nice move. Brassard in after. Trotman moves it to Chara. Chara's pass, good one to Talbot. Here comes Zach Ronaldo. Mark Stahl is there. Ronaldo ran into the referee and lost the puck in the referee's skates. In the corner goes Chara. Waits. Find an opening at the post, but it hit his own man. Trotman gets it to Ronaldo. Down to Talbot with Stahl on him. Pastrnak. Out to Chara. Toward the net. Save. That's through traffic. And it got through and Lundqvist made the save.
That's a Talbot line again. Ronaldo on one side. They've done a nice job in this game.
Trotman with 4:10 to go in the third. Tied 1-1. Marchand was hit hard. Bergeron's backhand saved by Lundqvist, and he covers up. Marchand got hit, but he got the puck to Bergeron, who got a good shot on goal. Nice save by Lundqvist.
Well, the Bruins have always known how to play defensive hockey. Here's our Marvel telestrator. This is McDonough, and look at all these Bruins in this area, how difficult they make. But the Rangers, they'll go one way, and then they'll go back all the way across the ice as the Bruins try and force it to one side, and then they keep skating and find the open man, and that's how you beat a good defensive team when they've got everybody in the neutral zone trying to stop the play there. It's not always easy. We've seen the Bruins do a good job of that in this game. But that one right there that led to a scoring chance by the Rangers was very effective the way they moved the puck to the open man.
Bergeron and Brassard on the face-off. Goes back to Lundqvist, and he covers up. No surprise that these two teams are playing a tight game, 1-1 with 4 minutes remaining in the third period. 23 of the last 31 games played by these two teams, between these two teams, have ended up in a one-goal decision. So another tight one here tonight. Tied 1-1. Rangers 28 shots, Bruins 27.
Now the Bruins have played a good road game.
Yeah.
They really have. They're more comfortable on the road this season than they have been at home.
They have a losing record at home.
Yeah. And that includes the goaltender as well. Tuukka Rask's numbers are outstanding when he's on the road.
That's tipped out of the zone. Under 4 minutes to go in regulation time. Trotman off the stick. Marchand trying to play it. Sent the other way by Dominic Moore. Moore, Glass, and Stallberg on for the Rangers. And after Landon Ferraro, Dominic Moore on him. Wraparound try, saved by Lundqvist on Marchand. McDonough able to push it to Dominic Moore, bangs it off the glass, and Tanner Glass plays it to Stallberg. Stallberg against Krug. The trailer was Moore, but that pass broken up by Bergeron. Krug. Long shot, saved by Lundqvist, decides to hold on. 3:15 to go in the third period.
Yeah, the Bruins come up with a good chance. Ferraro behind the net, and then Marchand finds the loose puck. And you see his quickness, 63. Here it is. He just turns, gets a shot. Lundqvist in good position, but can't control the puck. And eventually the Rangers are able to find it and clear it.
Boyle sends it up the boards. Down the ice it goes. Icing on the Rangers. This is Landon Ferraro's first appearance at Madison Square Garden. I've been impressed, Joe. He skates very well. He's played well for the Bruins.
You know, they picked him up, Sam, because their penalty killing wasn't very good. I mean, early in the season, the Bruins' penalty killing was terrible. Now it's been good. They've killed off 60 their last 64, but they picked him up because they needed some help with the penalty kill. And he's done a good job for them. He's a hard worker.
He's fitting very well with that line. Talbot and Ronaldo, long shot, gloved by Lundqvist. He dropped it and covers up. 2:54 to go. Dan Girardi went out early in the second period with a hand injury.
Yeah, he's in front, and you'll see this shot come, and it just catches him on the hand as he was trying to defend against Bolesky. And just an innocent-looking shot that came through and caught him in a bad spot, and he will not return.
Lacerated hand was the word we got from the Rangers locker room. Zuccarello makes his way through the neutral zone and dumps it in. 2:45 to go in regulation time. Zuccarello with a shot and a save by Rask.
Nice job by Brassard jumping in on Krug.
The Eriksson was stopped by Mark Stahl. Nash giving it back to Dan Boyle. Bruins changing. Stahl off the boards. Chara takes it. Step on after him. Chara again. Connolly's pass is to Kemppainen, and his pass across is deflected out of play. Keys to the game are brought to you by GMC. See the pros nearest you to test drive one of their award-winning trucks, crossovers, or SUVs today. GMC, we are professional grade. Jimmy Hayes, 5 goals in his last 6 games, 10 on the season, scored for Boston. Derek Brassard tied it, his 15th of the season. And the Rangers and Bruins 1-1 with just over 2 minutes to go in regulation time. Derek Brassard's career high in goals was last season with 19. He's got 15 already. We've got the whole second half of the season to play.
He's a
step on. Boston's clear away. Shot by Klein. Missed the net. Yandel with a drive. Score! Jesper Fast with a deflection. And the Rangers lead it 2-1.
This starts with Stepan. They get over the blue line, and then Stepan just stays with it. One shot goes wide. Boston can't get a piece of it, and then that shot by Yandel deflected in by Jesper Fast. And this line, it was a knuckling shot, as you can see there. And there just simply wasn't much room. That would have been 2 feet wide on the short side, maybe 10 feet wide on the short side. And Fast gets a piece of it, somehow sneaks it in on the short side. And the Rangers, with 2 here in the third period, take a 2-1 lead. What a deflection by Jesper Fast. And this line, Sam, that was a good move by Alain Vigneault, changing up those lines, because every time the Stepan line has been on the ice, they've had pressure. Miller's been good over on that side. Fast has had his most effective, I think, offensive game in a while. Not just a goal, but he's had some other chances. And Darren Stepan's game is coming back together.
1:42 remaining. 18-18 the time of the goal. Fast with his 7th of the season. And the Rangers have the lead for the first time in the game. It's 2-1.
Now the top 2 centers for Boston on the same line. Spooner and Bergeron out there together with Marchand.
To Carras, heading for the bench. Boston's net is empty. 6 skaters on. Spooner with a puck. Now Torrey Krug. Here's Chara. Wrist shot. Save by Lundqvist. Marchand tied up by McDonough. Eriksson gets it back to Chara. In deep for Marchand. Marchand leaves it for Spooner. Out to Krug. Back to Marchand. To Spooner. Spooner holding. Toward the net, a deflection went wide. A backhander is blocked. Krug gets it to Spooner. Their deflection almost made it in. Marchand up the boards to... Here's Krug. Back to Chara. Toward the net. Deflection save. Puck is still loose. Save. And it's underneath. It's squirted loose, but the whistle stopped playing. 44.9 seconds to go. And the Bruins did everything but put it in the net.
I think it was Marchand that had the last chance on his backhand. He didn't get all of it, and I'm not sure if Lundqvist didn't miss it, and it just lodged underneath his right leg. Here's the puck movement again as it gets to the front of the net. One more, and there's Marchand, throws it. You see the puck? It's stuck right underneath the pad of Lundqvist. His right pad, he doesn't know where it is. Here's one chance. He doesn't have his stick. He dropped his stick, and it's right underneath the pad. And you could see Lundqvist looking around, and Marchand knew if he could just get the stick in there, jam it one more time, that he might be able to pry it free.
The Bruins have called a timeout. This timeout brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company. As the Bruins talk it over.
That's Joe Sacco, former NHL player and head coach out in Colorado, that is drawing up the play for the Bruins.
The scoring on the go-ahead goal. Fast is 7th from Yandel and Klein at 18-18. We talked about defensemen scoring 3 points by defensemen in this game tonight.
Yep. McDonough with the other assist on the first goal to start this period, and now those 2.
You're watching the Foxwoods Final 5. Foxwoods, the wonder of it all. Visit foxwoods.com. 6 skaters on for Boston. The net is empty. Rangers have Brassard, Nash, McDonough, Klein, and Derek Stepan.
See if they're checking on the clock. It shows 44.9 seconds remaining in regulation. And they're double checking and making sure they add a little bit to it, about a second.
45.8 is now on the clock. Rangers have two centermen on the ice. Brassard taking the draw. Step on as well. Brassard won it back. McDonough. Long towards Brassard trying to move it. He's double teamed. It's played back to Krug. Krug able to keep it in. Deep to Spooner. Pass deflected. Knocked down by Marchand. Marchand leaves it for Spooner. Knocked away by Brassard. Nash trying to clear it. It was blocked by Krug. McDonough bangs it off the glass and out of the zone. Good play. That's no icing. Chara was hoping, but not enough on it. 15 seconds to go. Lead to Bergeron. Stopped by McDonough. Out of the zone. 10 seconds to go. Back in. Steered away by Lundqvist. Prime. And it deflected out of play. Face-off is going to stay in the Rangers zone with 3.4 seconds to go. Well, I guess they'll check the clock again to be sure what the timing is.
Boy, Brassard won a big face-off over on the other side against Bergeron. Now Bergeron will stay on the ice and take this face-off, and he'll try and get it directly behind him. There's Marchand, 63, and Bergeron on his strong side against Dominic Moore.
Moore and Bergeron are set. Loose, quick shot, wide. Off the back of the net, into the corner, it's over. Rangers win it. Wow. The Rangers have alternated wins and losses over the last 7 games, and this one was a tough one, and they pulled it out.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game, and the Rangers have a lot of grit and determination in their game. We talked about their third periods in recent games where they come back to score goals. They needed to do that again. We also talked about, getting contributions from other people. Jesper Fast, not known for his offensive ability, scores the game winner on a deflection. So Alain Vigneault makes a few in-game changes, which turned out to be the right moves, and the Rangers find a way to come back and beat the Bruins, one of the better road teams in the National Hockey League.
So an important win for the Rangers as they move 2 points ahead of the Islanders, who they'll face Thursday night in Brooklyn in another big matchup, another important divisional matchup. Rangers come out with 2 goals in the third period. The opening shift of the third period, Brassard scored at 35 seconds. Foss got the game winner at 18-18. Our stars of the game brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at MBUSA.com. Jimmy Hayes was the 3rd star. And Matt Zuccarello, who had an assist on the tying goal, is the number 2 star.
And tonight's first
the number 1 star of the game.
Scoring the game-winning goal.
With the game-winning goal, Jesper Fast.
Jesper Fast.
His 7th goal of the season.
And Sam, it wasn't just the goal. I mean, he had done some other things. We saw him with some deflections in the first period, making a few other plays, playing on that right side with Derek Stepan, whose game has gotten better. But again, that move to put Miller over there really ignited that line.
Rangers come away with an important 2-1 win over the Boston Bruins. We'll be back here at Madison Square Garden in just a moment.